Good afternoon, everybody. It's Matt, Serena Haven Homestead. I'm out here processing through the apple butter that we did on Saturday. It's now Tuesday. I'm finally able to actually do something. And by processing through what didn't sell on Saturday from the open kettle, we now are putting it through the pressure canner. I don't know how well you can see the steam coming up from the vent or the one lock valve. It's been going out for about 5-10 minutes. We got to get it to at least definite 10 minutes, and that'll help get everything going. That little safety lock valve keeps me from being able to unlock the pressure canner, because these right here goes to a little L bracket inside, and the bottom of this is basically a washer on the inside to where it just won't go past. Because once this gets up to pressure, that can be very nasty if you didn't have that safety piece there. And because it is venting this good, it should be about 10 minutes now. We're going to take the weight, and it's a Presto 10-pound weight. Set it on, and we're going to watch that pressure valve go up. It goes up by 5, 10, 15, 20 pounds of pressure, and that's a 15-pound weight. So if I would let it go above 10 and get to 15, that would rattle and jiggle and stay right about 15. But these pressure canners have multiple safety features on them. One is like that one, so you can't open it, but as long as the vent hole's clear, then it's safe. But you have this little black pressure plug back there, and that's the next safety feature, which if that pops for whatever reason, you've gotten into the black range, into the caution range of the thing, which is just way too high in general, and it will pop and it'll sound like a gun going off, but this whole canner itself won't deform or anything like that to where it's going to blow the top. It's just going to blow that little plastic piece, and then when it blows, if you're beside it, it is scary as all get out, and you might mess with yours, but it's extremely dramatic, but not dangerous if you're like this far from it. Although the steam that's coming out of it is steam, so the only thing you do then is go down to the valve, turn it off. If you got an electric stove, turn off the burner and just let it sit. Let it work its pressure down until it gets back down to zero, until that little safety pop won't come down. And give you an idea, that's how much pressure you got to do to get that down. And taking that lid off when it's under pressure in general, even when it's at like just 1 pound pressure and that's down, can still be difficult. But the other safety feature is you have a rubber gasket on there, and if it would fail, same as it one plastic thing on the back, it is extremely dramatic. If you're in the path of the steam, it will get you. Let's turn that down a little bit, because it's at 10 pounds where we want it at for our altitude. Our altitude right here is right at about 990 feet. If you get higher, the higher the altitude, the more pressure you got to have. because water boils at 212 at sea level to about 3,000 feet. Get above that, you got the less pressure of the air holding down, so water will boil at a lower temperature and all that happy science stuff. But the deal with the pressure canning is you have it at 10 pounds of pressure, so it's boiling, and you might be able to hear it in there over the cars out here, but it will boil at that pressure faster, which thereby increases the temperature because it has to get a higher temperature to boil it at the pressure. And I want to say it's about 240 degrees. I could be wrong. I'm trying to remember from memory, and I'll put it in the comments below if it is something different from that. But roughly 240, 235, 255, somewhere in there of the temperature inside the canner at the time that it's at pressure. But I want to keep this preferably right now between 8 and 10 pounds pressure for about 15-20 minutes, because all these had already sealed, but I'm just wanting to make sure that it's a really good, dependable seal and product that I can sell, because I don't want anybody getting sick for anything that I've made, whether it be family, friends, or customers. That's just be the safest you can be overall. Now, is this the only way you can do this? No. You can use a water bath canner, and you can water bath can anything if you water bath it long enough. And because it's dropping a little bit faster than I want, turn the heat back up a smidge. Not a lot. But you also got to keep the boiling water over top of the jars for 3 hours. You want to can meat by water bath canning? Sure, go for it. Rolling boil, 3 hours. If you add water to it, you add boiling water. You do not just add water. If you drop it down from a rolling boil to where it's no longer boiling, your 3-hour clock gets restarted. So just keep it simple. 3 hours. Rolling boil. Non-stop. Or get a pressure canner and can it. I like this one because it has so many safety features, and it is hard to screw up. It really is. Keep it about 10 pounds, go from there. When I'm canning meat in it, I will can it at about 10 to 12 pounds pressure and maintain it at the higher pressure than the 8 to 10 pounds pressure. Pints you're going to can at 90 minutes, or correction, 75 minutes, and quarts at 90. And when you turn off the heat and let it depressurize all the way back down, the contents of that meat will still be boiling even after the lid's off, and you can eat the meat straight from the jars even when it's cold, because it's cooked at the higher temperature in here for 75 to 90 minutes, and it was still boiling when the jars come out. And I've had jars boil sitting on my counter for up to like 25 and 30 minutes. But anyway, hopefully all that turned out well, because I was no camera view on that side unless I got a mirror. But This is round number 2. Round number 1 was that top dozen jars and that set of 8 jars, which with this type jar I can get 20 jars into the canner. Wide mouth jars I can do 16. Right now we have a dozen wide mouth and 7 regular mouth in there for 19. But was it 19? No. It was an odd number. I think it was 5. It's either 5 or 7 extra jars. But anyway, I can't do the full 20 like I can with the regular mouth jars, which I'm going to take the top case and that partial case inside here in a little bit. I've got another half case or so in the car. If I can process through these, then I can get done everything I can get done, make sure they're good. I can sell them to people and then they can sell them. But it's just constant up and down with the gauges, well, the burner gauge to keep that where I want it. So yeah, you gotta sit here and watch it all. But started this video right after I got it going. Gonna let that rest for another 5-10 minutes at the rate I'm going. Turn off the burner, let it depressurize, and then I'll wait another 10 minutes before I even take it out of the canner, because I can. But just taking my time, taking care of my product, make sure people don't get sick from my product. We're gonna go from there. Y'all take care. God bless. Like, share, subscribe, comment. If you pressure can, water bath can, or other can, tell us about it. If you don't can at all, as long as your vent pipe on your pressure canner is clear, hold it up to the sky. If you can see light, awesome. It's like I said, the safety things are on it for your safety. And it's like it's not going to explode. Right here we had it up to 12 pounds pressure just a minute ago. It's not going to explode. I've had this one rattling at 15 pounds quite a few times for quite a while, because I had to go use the bathroom or do something else while I was canning it, and came back like, oh, they turn heat down, then you just regulate it out. I'm sorry, my nose is just itching right now and I don't know what's going on with it. But take care of yourselves. Can something. These jars will be shelf stable for 2-3 years, and you can open it up and it smells like we just made it. With open kettle canning, you have your product at the boiling point when you put it in the jars. And I use the big leather gloves when I'm holding jars, putting the hot product in, hand it off somebody, they're wearing gloves, and then wipe the rims, make sure they're clean, make sure there's no nicks and chips in it. We had one jar out of 8 cases that had a chipped rim. Well, that jar came home with me and is going in for my personal use, because a chipped rim it's not going to be shelf stable. It will not seal. So that in and of itself is for me and my family. And it's in the refrigerator right now. So there's that. It doesn't take a lot to do this stuff. You do have to use common sense. If you open it up and there's mold on top, don't eat it. That's like, duh. Stupid if you try to eat it with got mold on top. That's why the alphabet agencies came up with all these rules. Because people in general are stupid. They said, no, you can't do, you can only pressure can low acid foods. You can only pressure can this. You can only pressure can that. There's a lot of places they don't have a pressure canner. All they have is something that they can water bath can in. And as long as you have a vessel of some sort and you got something on the bottom, you can put a towel on the bottom so if the jars are not directly on the bottom. You can put a layer of jars, put another towel. Put a layer of jars, put another towel. If you got a 15-gallon bucket metal pot, which that one down there fits down into, you can water bath can in it. Simple rules. Keep the water boiling above it, and you keep it boiling, rolling boil. If you have to add water, you add boiling water. You don't let it go to underneath the lid tops. You don't add water that's going to cause it to not boil. You keep adding boiling water. 3 hours. 180 minutes. Then turn, if you have it in a 15-gallon kettle, I wouldn't be lifting that up off of nothing. Because you're looking 150, 200 pounds that you're going to be lifting up. No. You take the fire away from it. You let it start cooling down to where it's no longer boiling. Then take the jars out level by level. That simple. People have been water bath canning for a century or two. I think they started back with Louis Pasteur and all his stuff. Because got a way to preserve stuff. This is one way of doing it. Open kettle is not the way for everything. As long as you can have it, keep it up to boiling temperatures and stuff. The last bit of the pot is usually the pot that's going to get used first because it's the coolest and being put into the jars. And that's why the quart jar or the wide mouth jars that I had at the end are in there now. And trust me, this is easier said than done. On most of the time while you're canning, you're doing this. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And it's starting to get down below 8, so we'll crank up the heat just a little bit more. Get it back to at least 8 pounds pressure. It was sitting at 7. And when I'm doing this, I'm keeping it going for quite a while. But the jars I just pulled out where I did it this long, they've already sealed. They've already done their singing and popped back down. So this is nothing but a thing. And it's all good. I've got a cookie sheet with a towel on it that when I use a jar lifter after everything's cooled down and stuff. And because you definitely don't want to use your bare hands to get burnt. Safety. You don't want to get hurt. Even if you have gloves like those on, the water will seep in. You will get burnt. Getting burnt bad. Not good. Bad. But that'll be this round going through. Then I've got another 2 rounds of this to get done, and then we will be done. We're going to go from there. But the other good thing about being out here doing this, fresh tea. Fresh hot tea. I love it. But this is how easy it is to can stuff, folks. This is not rocket science. And I guess one of the jars hadn't sealed back because hopefully you heard that ping of it. And that's pretty much it. This is easier than what you can shake a stick at. Don't be scared of canning. Canning's easy. Anyway, this is the news of Serenity Haven Homestead. Take care of yourself. Be safe. And it's like, if I don't sell any of these, I got stuff to put on my biscuits, my bread, my toast, whatever. Or if I just want to eat straight out of a jar. Apple butter. Quick recipe for it. My 15-gallon copper kettle. If I use number 10 cans of applesauce, it takes 16. Then a half gallon to gallon of water and a 1 gallon of apple cider vinegar. It's like, once that cooks down for however long, and I keep it at a rolling boil to where it looks like it bubbles up, pops, and it'll pop up, out, and over, and all that good stuff each and every time. Keep it at that rolling boil, and you keep it stirring with the paddle. Then it'll take anywhere between 6 and 8 hours to complete it down. When you get near the end, and it'll cook down about 3 to 4 inches from the top rim easily. And when it does that, you're regulating the heat with the firewood, and we do use firewood. Push in, pull out, push in, pull out, push in, pull out. Keep it at the steady beat, so that way it's not boiling over and stuff. And you got to keep some of the people from just want to keep tossing wood in after you pulled it out. It's like, leave it be, leave it be. Well, I just want to keep it at a boil. I was like, it was boiling enough. But that's how you regulate the temperature with that. Regulate how the air goes, if you can do that. But then when it comes to the end, I add between 5 and 6 ounces, between 4 and 6 ounces of cinnamon powder. Stir that in, get it going good. Use a silicone scraper and scrape off the sides throughout the day. Make sure it keeps going down in. And then after that's been incorporated in for a little bit, then you start adding in the sugar. 4 pounds at a time. 15-pound kettle. This year we used 24 pounds of sugar. A lot of sugar. Had one customer come up and he says, "You got anything sugar free?" I said, "Give us about 2 hours, the cinnamon be added. I'll be more than happy to pull off a couple jars for you that's going to be totally sugar free." "Oh no, I don't want to put you out." It's like, it ain't nothing but a thing. I just watch you walk up, you enjoy the Heritage Farm, and then right before you leave, just swing back by and I'll have them set aside. You just give me the word. Oh, the flame just went out because the wind picked up. So get that going again. That's one thing I like about this lighter. A little hole on there. I use the hole to click it. But when you're using LP gas, sometimes you gotta act quick like that. But I keep saying but and anyway and this and that and the other. So just a whole lot of me talking. That's pretty much a recipe. And if it starts to do the fine bubbles when you're doing the open kettle, making the apple butter, add in a stick of butter. I don't know why. It just settles down on all the foam and stuff. Same thing you would do as if you're making maple syrup. A lot of people don't understand all that stuff, and I sure don't, but it's one of those things. It's one of those things that works. That's how it's done. That's the best way to do it. So that's what we do. So, like, share, subscribe, comment. This is also what I do with my pumpkin butter. Actually, this is what I do always with my pumpkin butter. After I jar it up, I will pressure can it. Because according to the USDA Alphabet Agency, is like, they consider pumpkin butter a pumpkin puree. Well, pumpkin puree has 1 to 2 ingredients. Pumpkin water, salt. It's like, that's it. Whereas pumpkin butter has pumpkin cooked down, blended smooth, and all that good stuff. Then the sugar, cinnamon spice, apple cider vinegar. Well, I use the pumpkin pie spice with pumpkin, but you can use just cinnamon, you can use clove, you can use everything. But the pumpkin pie spice has the cinnamon and the clove, so there's that. So this is what we're doing today. 3 rounds of this and taking care of stuff and talking to friends while I do it. Y'all be safe. Enjoy your life. Enjoy everything about it. Don't let people mess you up. If you feel that life's getting hard, it's like, talk to somebody. When I was a medic, sometimes it was hard. I've lost many co-workers due to suicide. For whatever reason. Especially guys, it's like, talk to somebody. It's all good. God loves you. Be safe out there. Bye.